Hello everybody, this is Cyberholic tutorial 1.1.11 and it has been quite some time since I did the last video. First of all, I had some jobs to finish and then I won in the COVID lottery and got positive. Yeah, funk COVID. This is the first day where I can sit in front of a computer and yeah, as I want to go on with my private website, and also to record how or blog about how I passed the last days. Yeah, I want to install the blog plugin, the blog plugin on my website. If from time to time, I'm still having problems breathing, so if from time to time I have to cough or sneeze or whatever, then excuse me for that. Just like now, longer speaking still is a problem for me and walking, etc. also, but hey, I'm alive. So let's get it on, and we do so. What I want to do now is, this is the current website, okay? So the last thing that we did was this list. I updated it, as I said in the last video, that I want to make it a little bit more beautiful. So whenever I add a new tutorial, you get some funky icons in here. And all of this comes from a PHP generated JSON array. So this is no database backend or whatever. You can see it in the last two videos if I'm right. The last one being the how to create a dynamic listing with Fomantic UI and Winter CMS. So that's the JSON part. And now what we are going to do now is I want to, in my menu, in my side panel, I want to add a block menu point. And we do so by going to the backend, into settings, just in case that you watch this video for the first time, I'm doing all of this as uncut video on my Raspberry Pi 400. So everything is way slower than probably on your system, but get used to it. Slow-mo is the new black. So once in settings, I go to updates and plugins, and here we still have, or I, with my system, still have the problem that if you are going to see it in a second, if I want to install a block plugin, a block plugin, here it is, install plugins, then he's going to ask me what kind of plugin I want to install. Once with October CMS, there was the RainLab block plugin, okay? So if I search for block, let's see if it's still like that. Sorry. Oh, it's not in here anymore. Okay, that's good. If you see somewhere in here the RainLab the RainLab block plugin, don't install it. You have to search for winter. I think it was winter.block. Is that correct? Wait a time. There it is. Block by Winter CMS. Just out of curiosity, let me see if I search for block by... come on. Do you find anything? No. So it doesn't search within the title, but the code of the plugin. And in this case, it's winter.block. Once that you type winter, we are later going to install also builder, a scaffolding tool or plugin that is absolutely fabulous. So I click on block by Winter CMS, and now it is installing my winter block plugin. Winter block in. Excuse me. It's installed. It is installed. And if you scroll here to the left, where is it? There it is. Block. Manage block settings. that's probably one of the first thing that you should open up, because in here you can, I think, just activate one thing, if I remember it correctly. You should do this exactly. Show all posts to backend users. Okay, you should always check if you install a new plugin. Always go to the backend and see if you can activate, deactivate anything. Okay, the new thing is up here. Up here you can see that that the block plugin is installed and created a new menu up here in block. So I click on block. Excuse me again. And probably the first thing before starting anything, posting anything, the first thing that you should do is just check the categories and add your own one. So the first one, the uncategorized, is the standard one. That's fine. If you already know that you're going to post news, then you can create a block called, let's do it. So we can see if there's still some, from my point of view, usability problem with this. So I'm going to call this the news category, or block. Let's make it block. This is the personal block of Cyberholic in its main category, something like that. Create and close. And now there's something funny with this, with winter CMS. The last time that I tried it was with October CMS, and I didn't like it that much. But let's see. Let's say you want to create under block, you want to create a new subcategory for whatever. Let's say that you are planning a news page, not your personal page, or whatever. I mean, let's call it block, and you would like to add a subcategory. And this, let's call it, I'm already knowing what I'm going to later add. So all the wallpapers coming that you can download. No, all the wallpapers that I have collected within the last 10. It's probably 15 to 20, but to make sure that I'm not posing around here, I'm going to just put 10 years. Okay, create and close. And as you can see here, you can't choose a subcategory. You can't choose it as with a parent category, sorry. You can say, okay, wallpaper is a subcategory of block. You do so, apparently still do so, by clicking up here on reorder categories. And once that you have reorder categories open, you can move wallpaper to block. In terms of, let me see, there it is. Sorry. So the wallpaper is a subcategory of block. Block is the parent category of wallpaper. You can do it this way only. And to be honest, I don't like it that much. I remember that when I did it like 2 years ago or whatever with October CMS, I did not found out how to choose a subcategory in what you're going to see next and how to implement it in the website. For a better overview and how you should do it, it should be like that. Really, you should create as many subcategories right from the start on. So that's easier than having to categorize everything later on. I started blogging in September 2000. Sorry, no, 1999. And back in that days, everything was made just with pure HTML. I still had no knowledge about PHP and databases. And only I think like 1 year ago, 1 year later, popped up a tool called Nucleus CMS. It wasn't a CMS, it was a block system. And so everything was hard-coded. And like in 2008 or something like that, when I did a relaunch, I took all of the hard-coded stuff and moved it to categories, and that was a pain in the glass. So if you can, try to create as many subcategories as possible. Okay, so we have now our categories, and on the left you can see that, well, all your posts are. Sorry. And once that's loaded, you will see that there's just a first post. And we will stick to that. Now we will make a second one so that you can see it. Oh, the first blog post has no category. So I'm going to add it to the category blog. Where is it? Here. This is the blog plugin. You can see that you can add a title. It generates an auto slug for your URL. You can change that later on. Or even now you can, I don't want it to call the blog post. I want to have it something like this or whatever. You can really adapt it to your needs. This is works with Markdown. There is a plugin, or there was a plugin for October that allows you to use the standard editor, but it's until today I have not found how to implement that into Winter CMS. So we will stick with this one. And under categories, you can see the categories that we created. I choose blog, and then on manage, you can choose the date, by whom it was created, can make an excerpt, a summary, and you can add featured images. This is super fantastic because you can add multiple images, and thus you have a super easy way to create a gallery for a post. Sorry. So we stick to that. I go to save and close. It takes some time. And then I'm going to create a second post just for the purpose of showing you the for loop that we are going to create, or that it's automatically created. So it's really, really easy to implement a block system and adapt it to your needs. So I'm going to call this the second entry without an excerpt. Second post, hello. Hey, where's my slug? Thank you. This is just some brown fox jumping over the fence. It's absolutely fantastic how fast I'm typing and how slow with OBS running in the background my Raspberry Pi manages this. You can see that it's like 2 frames per second, right? Hey, take your time, enjoy life. We never have time until COVID funks us. Seriously. The first 2 days I was just laying in bed doing absolutely nothing because I think I slept like for 48 hours. Okay, published on, I'm going to select today, and I'm going to select, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning. This must be some funny sounds that you're hearing. Sorry for that. Okay, save. So we have a second post. Then I'm going to save and close this. I probably can move right away. Is it published? Yeah. Move away from here. But I would just want to make sure that everything is fine. Okay, so we have now 2 posts. Now we want this to be shown on our website. For this, first of all we go to CMS. And we have to create a new page. And this page is I'm going to create it not on a tutorials, but on a blog. So for this, I'm going to just call it Cyberholic blog. but I'm going to, the title is Cyberholic blog, but the URL is going to be blog. And we are going to add later on here some funny stuff like this. Oh, not here, sorry, ignore it. It's going to come with the blog details. But today we are just going, I'm just going to make this video short. So the next thing is opening up. This here, the file name is going to be, I'm going to put it in the folder blog and call it blog HTML, because later on I'm going to have here, maybe you can have a category where you can filter by categories, etc. Layout, it's going to be the default one. I'm just ignoring the description currently. And just to see if this works, I promise that as soon as Raspberry is going to pop up with an 8 gigabyte of a Raspberry Pi 400, I'm going to buy it, and then hopefully all this OBS flickering will not happen anymore. Okay, so this is the blog entry. Then we are going to have to open up the partial containing our menu. It's the panel, main menu. And here I'm going to add a new item. Why have I written it like this? Let me put it all in one line only. So here comes in sorry, block, and I'm calling it the blog. I'm putting it above Cyberholic tutorials because the news are more important than the tutorials, right? Right. I'm still missing here the logo or portrait photo of my ugly face. Oh, some live action calling later on. Thank you. Okay, so save this and let's update the page to see if everything is fine. I'm still having, for some reason, some cache trouble. That could be with my web host, because sometimes I make changes and it does not get updated. And maybe there is a cache plugin for Windows CMS where you can always delete it, but we'll see it in a second. Okay, so now I click on the menu. There is the blog. And I click on it. So what's going on here? Oh, my dear lovely Raspberry Pi. Why are you so slow? Low. Now we have the the hello in here. And because I see that there's no space to the side, I'm going to the page of the tutorials and see what kind of structure I have put in there, so that it's encaped in a segment or whatever. Let me see. Okay, the container is on the page. Okay, so I'm going to copy all of this, go to the Cyberholic blog page that we just created, paste it in here, close the div, and I'm going to keep it in here for one main reason. Cyberholic blog. The main reason is that I'm going to show you how you can make this header appear or disappear depending on what page you are. So on the first page you might want to have an introduction, like a header, the Cyberholic blog, blogging since 2000. Oh gosh. There has been quite some stuff. My English is not that perfect. Has been quite some stuff accumulated. Can I say it like that? Oh, accumulated. Does that? I'm taking this now from Spanish, so I don't know if this word even exists, but I'm going to try to find that out later on. So this is the entry, and what we are going to do now is simply this. On the lower left of our CMS, you see components. And because we installed the block plugin, we have a new component called block. And in here, you have these options. You can show a list of the categories that we have. For example, if you want to have a page, like a landing page, where you first show the categories of your block categories. An unique post. Jesus Christ. Who the hell is calling me? This is like... Am I Joe Biden or what? Sorry. This is like telephone terror coming in. At this time, usually it's always like, how do you call it? Spam calls. Okay, so we have the category list. We have a unique post. We have a list of posts, several posts where you can choose the category. And you have the RSS feed so that you can generate an RSS feed if you want to. What we are going to do for this short video is just drag and drop the post list up here, and then we get this component setting option where you click on it and can tell him what you want to be shown. So if you see the category filter, currently it's going to show all of the entries. We could write in here wallpaper or block, I think we had, etc. We are just going to keep it like this currently. You can show how many posts per page before the pagination starts. If there are no posts, what message should be shown, at what order. And this is quite interesting because if you import your posts from whatever database, then it could be that you have to choose created ascending or descending, or you have to manage or change the timestamps within the database. How do you call it? IDE, manager, like PHP myadmin. So we are going to keep it like this currently. As you can see, just a second, where is it here? You can also show random one. This is quite cool if you would like to implement this in the home page, where you could show just a random block entry. In this case, it would show 10 random block entries, but so this is super fantastic coming from Winter CMS, offering all of these possibilities. On the next video, we are going to see how we can link to the details, because currently we just have the blog page, but we are going to make a page blog/post so that if you click on the excerpt or whatever, that you get to the post itself. Okay, so I'm going to save this now. Go back here. Update the page, and we should now see the intro and our both block entries. There they are. Okay, and now you're probably going to ask, okay, this looks like a listing. How can I change this? And this is why I love Winter CMS so much. If you go down here on your code, just can I make this smaller so that you can see it? Perfect. What we are going to do in the next video is this. Clicking here on component, on the lower right corner, you have these 4 icons. One is for full screen, so that you can put the editor in full screen. Let me just show it to you. This also works with Control Shift and F, so there's a keyboard shortcut for it. But the important thing about this, if there's a component and it's correctly written, if you click on the first button here, this is a fork. And if I click on it, ta-da, what happens is that you get the whole post coming from the component. meaning the code from the component looks like this. And you can see the unordered list tag here and then the list tag. So this is the point where you can adapt everything to your needs. And this is absolutely fantastic. On the lower part starts the pagination. You can see it here. If posts has more than one page, coming from what we have set up here, 10. So if there are 11, 12 and more posts, then show the pagination. So this is absolutely fantastic because you can really adapt the layout to whatever you want. Free of, it's really, really super, super easy. As long as you know a little bit of HTML and all this Twig stuff going on here, like post URL. Post URL comes from this loop where we say, hey, post comes from the blog posts component. And apparently it's an array, so loop through it and show it in here. So if I put in here an XX, oops, not in there, sorry, coming before the title, several X's, you're going to see that they're going to pop up here before the title. Or Raspberry Pi, maybe there it is, okay? So as you can see, you are really free to adapt the layout to whatever you want with whatever, in my case, Fomantic UI elements that I want. And this is an absolutely freedom of how stuff should look like. Here you can see the excerpt. You could even write in Twig if else function saying if there is a summary, then show the summary, else show the whole entry or whatever. You are really absolutely free to use whatever you want. So what I'm going to do now is trying to import my posts from my old website into the new website. And this is going to take some time because the database structure is different. But don't worry too much. If you go to blog, I'm just going to show it to you up in the menu. Sorry. There's an import function for entries so that if you can export your blog entries coming from whatever system as a comma separated values file, CSV, TXT, whatever. I don't know if, well, if you have it as TXT, you can rename it simply as CSV or import it in Excel and then adapt it there and export it there, etc. But as you can see, you can import a CSV file in here saying in what format it is set up so that you can really say, okay, I have a semicolon or a comma or whatever. It's absolutely fantastic what Winter offers you here. So you can upload your CSV file and then instead of auto matching the columns, you can really just drag and drop the database fields with your file and yeah, adapt it like that. The problem that I'm going to have is that for all posts that I have, the path is not going to, of the images, for example, are not going to be exactly the same because, for example, my first database page was made with Joomla, and Joomla has a total different media path structure than Winter CMS. So the solution here is that you can make inside PHP MyAdmin, you could make a SQL search and destroy or search and replace thing where you can say, okay, wherever you find this inside my database, change the path to that. Or if you have it as TXT or CSV, then you could do this with any text editor or inside Excel to replace the paths. So I'm not sure if this is really going to work out with my stuff because it's now more than 20 years old, but we will see it, okay? So this is how you create the block option or insert, include the block plugin into your Winter project. And what I'm going to do in the next video is show you how we can change this layout so that it looks sexy. I should cut out this coughing, but nah, funk it. Thanks for watching and hearing, and once again, sorry for my health situation. It really sucks. See you on the next video. If you have any questions, just put it below the comments. Thanks for watching.